What's up, guys? Just here by my channel. Tonight, we're going to review for AEW Dynamite. So let's get to it then with the first match, the AEW World Tag Team Championship Eliminator Tournament, the Outrunners versus the Young Bucks, and then we shoot to the outside venue and stuff. Outrunners theme music comes, and already in the ring is the Young Bucks, and Justin Roberts once again sped up their names and stuff. And then, yeah, so anyways, the bell sounds, official running with our opening contest, kicking things off for the respective teams. And this one will be Matt Jackson and Truth Magnum. Jackson gets the upper hand early before the Bucks start to fight back. Floyd comes running in off and attack. They take the Bucks down to a pop. Bucks are control of the match. The commentators relentlessly sing the praises and stuff. And then Floyd boom crap stuff. Anyways, Floyd makes a tag to Magnum, which gets a crowd on their feet. He clears house to another nice pop before Matt catches him in the corner. He slides out of the ring for a super kick on Floyd before coming back into the ring for a tag to Nick, who takes over on Magnum. On that note, show heads to mid-match commercial break and this contest and stuff. When show returns, when we see Nick keeping Magnum away from the tag, going after Floyd in the corner. Turbo gets on the turnbuckle looking for a reach on the tag. Instead, Matt ends up knocking him off to the floor as Magnum gets back, taken back to the canvas before a tag to Matt is made. Big senton from Matt, but it's only good for a 2 count. Trude evades more bang for your buck, finally escaping their grasp for the hot tag to Floyd. Turbo comes in and goes off, sending Nick to the corner before dropping Matt with a big slam. The Outrunners look for their handshake, but Nick super kicks to break it up. Total Recall then gets stopped as the Bucks start to get back into it before Turbo drops them down to the mat. We finally get the double elbow from the Outrunners, but the Bucks kick out to save the match. The Outrunners begin to add their offensive lead from that point on, coming close on a few occasions on finishing things off, only for the Bucks to knock them out for the pin out of nowhere. Then winners and advancing the tournament, the Young Bucks. Then Short Strickland comes in and stuff, and sorry. Anyway, so the Bucks, with the win, the Bucks advance in the ongoing AEW World Tag Team Championship Eliminator Tournament. As soon as the match ends, we get the bell. We get a look at the update and stuff, and then we hear familiar sounds of the theme song for what's his name. And on that note, the AEW Unified Champion makes his way out in a white suit. He joins fellow members of the Elite, the Young Bucks, in the ring. The three begin a post-match beatdown of the Outrunners, which continues until the theme for Swerve Strickland hits. Swerve Strickland makes his way out to the ring, and as he does, the Outrunners recover the Young Bucks belt, but the Rainmaker is stuck alone in the ring with True Magnum, Turbo Floyd, and Swerve Strickland all taking turns beating him down into the delight of the crowd. We see the Young Bucks crouching down at ringside, hiding from Swerve and the Outrunners as they walk around the ring apron. However, we see Swerve Strickland spring to life. He hits big leaping elbow, double stomp to lay out Nick and Matt Jackson. His team hits again to end the eventual post-match scene. Alright, I have a backstage with Renee Paquette and Stelmar Briscoe, and then brings up MJF and stuff, and then Ricochet comes out talking shit and stuff. So anyways, he turns to the camera to try again to address MJF to once more being interrupted by Ricochet, all that stuff, and yeah, and then the trio of them finally walk off, and then it's covered live, all that stuff. But anyways, and then a little backstage again with Shelton Benjamin and stuff. Shelton Benjamin talks about like his watch and stuff, his fake Rolex, and then he smashes to the floor and all that. So yeah, and then we have a segment with Christian Cage after that. Inside the arena, Tony Schiavone is standing in the ring. He introduces his guests at this time in his first appearance since being attacked by the patriarchy and ultimately saved by Adam Copeland at AEW All In, Texas, before being told by Cope to go find himself. Christian Cage, Cage makes his way to the ring and stuff. Cage introduces himself saying, My name is Christian Cage, and I'm an asshole. And the crowd agrees in a positive manner. To tell you the truth, though, I do agree. That's what I did during the show. I said, yep. That's true. Anyways, as Cage talks about being obsessed with gaining the AEW World Championship and how he saw his past in a moment after hitting a picture-perfect spear From there, he stops himself to remind the crowd he is conducting his business before turning his attention to Nick Wayne and his actions at AW All in Texas. He goes into what he likely did to deserve the treatment and how there is a long line of people looking to maim him for what he's done in the past. He then addresses what Al Copen said about him recently, looking back at his own remarks toward Cope before asking if the things he said were really that bad. He says Am isn't gonna come out here and act like he doesn't understand the game with the game. He's made some unsavory comments himself. Cage then goes on to address Cope, telling him to go find himself. Maybe he did and maybe he didn't, but know this: you and I are so different, and yet we are the same. Tony asks him more about what happened at AW All in Texas, and Cage addresses this by running down Nick Wayne and then Mama Wayne. Nick thinks he's got all figured out. Now has some gold around his waist, but what's going to happen when you have to actually fight and answer for what you done? Cage is going to stand out here now and admit Nick has more talent than Christian, but he has trying to protect him. Nick calls himself the new face of AEW now and forever, but you're gonna have to go through Christian Cage to get there. Nick Wayne, you already had one dead father, and now you have a second father who is just dead to you. He ends by saying he disowns Nick, Kip, and Shayna before making his way out to the ring. Alright, Christian Cage goes up the ramp where Shayna confronts him before Kip appears from behind and all to set up blindside attack from Nick Wayne. They get a pair of chairs and take Christian Cage out with a contrary to the crowd boos. Cage's left laying face down as the patriarchy stands over him, and after that we have a little backstage thing with FTR and the Young Bucks talking shit to each other, blah blah. So, anyways, second match coming up is AW World Championship. Everyone banned from ringside. Heyman Page, who is a champion, versus John Moxley. It's time stub. Banned. Okay, anyways, we get the bell going. The 2 men stare each other down as the crowd is firmly behind Page. Lockup leads to Mox taking Page to the corner, but the Heyman does not break away. Instead, it's Mox who is forced to make the break before blindsiding him for a forearm. Page fights back. Page sends John to the corner for some strikes before backing away. Both men return to the middle of the ring for a series of chops, each looking to take the other off their game until Mox takes a bite out of the champ. He sends Page to the corner but takes a boot to the face. Mox gets caught in a choke by Page before breaking free. The action spills to the outside as Page sends Mox into the barricade for more damage, but the refs count force him back into the ring. Sliding lariat gets Page a 2 count, chops to Mox on the ropes, followed by an elbow. From there, From there, Mox is sent to the ropes before turning things around to force the champ to the corner. He drives a knee into the face of Page before attacking the head with mounted punches, then drives a fist into the forehead. For good measure, he takes Page to the mat for a 2 count. Fans get on Mox's cause with a loud "You tapped out" chant aimed in this direction. Mox pays them no mind as he continues to attack, dropping Heyman to the mat. If you hear somebody, I'm sorry guys, if you hear somebody in the background, their vehicle's so fucking annoying. I'm sorry if you heard that. Dropping Heyman to the mat before stomping away. Page breaks out of the challenger's grasp finally, but is dropped with a German suplex before being sent to the corner. Mox connects with a German suplex, but the champ manages to turn it around for a near fall attempt. Mox gets launched for a fallaway slam, sending him to the apron. Mox tries to fight back, but gets dropped to the floor by the champ, who brings Mox back in the ring for a 2 count. Mox fights back with a Kimura. Page crawls to the ropes to force a break and gets the opening he needs to roll Mox up for another 2 count. John rolls out of the ring for a breather, but Heyman follows him closely, only for Mox to send him into the ring steps with authority. After that, Mox sails into a comfortable offensively. He climbs to the top of the ring, picks Heyman up and spikes him on the Cowboy Dome with a vicious power driver on the steel. On that note, the show shifts gear into a mid-match commercial break as the action continues. When the show returns, we see some more back forward action, and then Page heads to the apron looking for a buckshot lariat. Mox ends up sending him off the apron and onto the announce table, where he sets champ up for a power driver, only for Page to counter with a dead eye to Mox to the table. The ref checks on both men, but Page quickly brings Mox back into ring for a cover that garners a 2 count. Mox is back as Page with the fight heading to the corner where Heyman gets caught on a moonsault, but counters right into a tombstone power driver for a near fall. Page sees an opportunity to give the challenger of his own medicine, looking for a set of kicks to the head and neck, but Mox fights out of it, catching the champ with the bulldog choke. Instead, Page tries to get to the ropes, but a gator roll from Mox pulls him away from safety. Instead, Heyman fights to his feet to finally break free and sets up for a label lock on the challenger. Mox struggles for a bit before crawling over to get his boot on the rope, forcing the break. The action makes its way to the apron, where Page goes for a dead eye, only for Mox to land a power driver, sending the champ's head onto the hardest part of the ring. He brings Page back into for a gotch-style power driver and go a car, but Page narrowly kicks out. Heyman escapes a DT attempt before the two men go at it. Back at it in the middle of the ring, Page gets fired up as he lands a few shots, sending Mox out of the ring, all leading to a moonsault off the top, forcing the challenger to the floor. Stupid thing. Alright, anyways, he brings Mox back in the ring for a buckshot lariat, but Mox counters before Page turns it around for a dead eye. But he knocks the ref down in the process. This draws a bit of boos as the crowd can sense what's coming. He with security holding back in the Dead Riders, but not Miranda Shafir. Shafir hands the title to Mox to lay out the champ. He does. He then goes for the cover, but as the ref is finally awake again, but Page still manages to kick out at 2. The crowd goes wild. The ref sees Shafir at ringside and immediately ejects her. Pure stipulation, drawing her higher security. Higher security brings her and the Dead Riders away from the crowd. As that is going on, we see Darby Allin appear out of nowhere in the rafters. He leaves and catches the Riders with a dive from the opera box. Back in the ring, and Page catches a distracted Mox with a buckshot lariat, but Mox goes for a sleeper. After this gets turned into a deadeye by the Heyman, who lands another buckshot lariat for the win. So winner and still AEW World Champion Heyman and Page. Oh, thank goodness. Alright, next match coming up, Time Stone Storm, Alex Windsor versus Athena and Billy Starks. Alright, show returns, commercial break, and all that stuff, blah, blah. Opponents, at the bell sounds, gets his official off running. We start things off with Athena and Windsor, the two trading holds until Athena takes Windsor down, tag made to Storm, who looks for a scrap with the Forever Champ, who evades Storm long enough to tag in Starks instead. Billy offers a handshake, but it was a nurse as she hits a snapmare. Storm fights back from the ropes for a drop kick and a backbreaker before Windsor tags in for a double team. They take turns attacking Starks in the corner before taking a dance to lay in one last shot. From there, we see Athena rush in, only to be quickly dispatched before Alex goes back after Starks. She sends her to the ropes for a DT to get a 2 count before Athena breaks it up. Athena starts drop a Storm to the floor, but is quickly fought off by Windsor. Windsor sends Billy back in the ring to get back on that tag. Athena tags in for a double team, dropping Windsor with a vicious spine buster. On that note, show she gears into a match. Crucial break. Action continues and stuff, blah blah. Shit, come on, stupid thing. Anyways, when the show returns, we see Starks makes a tag for a double team with Athena on Windsor, then gets Storm riled up, forcing the ref to intervene and allowing Starks to get even more damage in on Alex before bringing her to the center of the ring. Windsor fights back, missing a disgust punch, and when Starks evades, but landing a headbutt to her to send her to the mat. Athena manages to get a tag in, keeping Windsor away, while Starks pulls Tony off the apron. Windsor sends Athena to the corner, now using the ropes for speed before landing a lariat. Linger bomb falls for a near fall before Starks breaks it up. Storm rushes in, getting attacked by Athena. We see Windsor get beat down Athena and then drive her into the mat with authority for a 2 count, which is broken by Senton Atomico by Starks. The tag is finally made to Tony, and now she goes off on Athena and starts who gets attacked and only to be sent to the mat with Lou Thez press. As the action continues, Storm continues to dominate. She goes for and hits her trademark hip attack on spot in the corner instead of being where things end. We see her nearly get her head taken off by the former champion Athena, who follows up with the pin for the victory. She tells Storm it's her time now. Winners are Athena and Billy Starks. Alright, and Paige punks out MJF and stuff. They're talking shit to each other about backstage, staying by the AEW champ, who was quickly interrupted by MJF, who was upset about Paige not wanting himself to defend him, and then brings up Strickland and face Mark Briscoe and stuff, and blah blah, and yeah. So coming on Access, the main event, Will Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe. Well, before that, Will Nigel had day night for which is for tomorrow. Have a match with Decla and stuff for tomorrow night. So yeah, so that's gonna happen tomorrow. So anyways, next match coming up: Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe, main event time. Thanks at the arena, we hear the familiar sounds of Ricochet's theme music. Out he comes, he sells in the ring for the final scheduled match of the evening. Theme for his opponent hits and all stuff. Okay, the bell sounds and running. So as the match gets underway, we see some good back and forth action early on as Briscoe starts to pull ahead into a comfortable offensively. We see the Gates of Agony duo of Bishop Khan and Toa Leona make their way out and settle in the ring at ringside. Ricochet uses distraction to shift the offensive momentum in his favor. He knocks Briscoe out to the floor. Hits the ropes to build up a full head of steam, and then soars over the ropes, splashing onto the redneck Kung Fu master at ringside. On that note, show shift gears into match final commercial break. And so the evening as the main event continues. When show returns, we see more back for action until Briscoe ultimately picks up the win. Things were getting against Sarah Howard. So winner is Mark Briscoe. Alright, once the match wrapped up, Briscoe got on the microphone and told the Chicago crowd that the show isn't over yet. In fact, it's just getting started. He brings up MJF mocking his dead brother multiple times. He calls out MJF. The theme for MJF hits, but he ends up appearing on the big screen instead. He tells Briscoe he spoke to lead Mark Tony Khan, and a main event is set between them for next week. Aew Dynamite. He says that's it. That is, if you make it. On that note, MJF attacked Briscoe live in the ring from behind. He beats him down until finally the AEW World Champion Heyman Page rounds out to make the save, chasing MJF, and the show ends right there. So yeah, good show tonight stuff, and yeah, there's some good shows. I mean matches. The good match was Heyman Page versus John Moxley and stuff. So yeah, I thought that was gonna be in the main event and stuff, but it wasn't. Because we understand why, because it will go overtime and stuff. So yeah, so that's why they changed to Ricochet and Mark Briscoe for their main event. So anyways, that was this first video. Hope you like it. Not whatever stuff. So like, subscribe, hit the button, leave a comment. If you guys don't leave a comment down, or care, guys, and that was it. See you guys Friday night for a Friday Night SmackDown. All right, laters.